Coming next, the new motor racing talents, the kids with itchy feet, the cadets who are top of the class. That's after the break. Welcome back. It's only comparatively recently that drivers as young as 8 have been able to compete officially. It's obviously a big advantage to begin as early as possible. The story of how Luke Stevens and his father from Newmarket became involved in karting certainly touched a chord with us.
First, our friends told us about it when it was indoor, and I went and had a go. And then I saw it on wheels about 2 years ago, and that was when Anthony Davidson won in the cadet class.
And you and your dad said, we want to get involved in this?
Yep. So we looked in the yellow pages and we saw a man called Paul Wright who makes the karts, and we went over and saw him and we bought this, which was his son's.
And how are you getting on?
All right, never had a win yet.
Nice one, Luke. The check's in the post. Some of the young drivers here have considerable experience within their families. Here's Keith Hewan again.
11-year-old Luke Hines has advantages and disadvantages as he learns the ropes in the cadet class. His father Martin is one of the biggest names in karting, 3 times world champion and owner of the Zip Kart company based in Hoddesdon. So Luke is certain to get the best advice and best equipment, although it's a formidable name to carry in this sport.
Over the years, we've sort of developed supercarts for the last 20 years, and I've raced the things, and I love racing them. But now I've got a little sort of 10-year-old, 11-year-old of my own who's come along, and it's now his turn. So the sort of tables have turned, and we're starting off at the junior end again and working our way through. It's like everything else, nothing's cheap these days. But you can get into the sport on a reasonable budget. You can get out and have great fun, and it is a family sport. Mum's there cooking and she's making a cup of tea while the kids are out there working with Dad, and Dad's working away on the cart, and the kid goes out and he spins it in the first corner and Dad kills him. No, it doesn't happen like that. But it is real good family fun.
9-year-old Oliver Jarvis from Newmarket also comes from a motor racing background. His father Carl was competing this weekend at Brands Hatch in the Formula Ford Championship.
What did you think about it when you first got onto a car?
Very enjoyable.
You liked it?
Yeah.
You're not frightened by it?
No, it wasn't frightening at all.
So how many years now have you been karting?
I think it's about 1 now.
I've never been karting before, and the first time I turned up it was at Kimbolton, and I arrived and it was the cadets out, and they just turned over. So it was one of a horror when I first saw it, but now I really enjoy it.
Daniel Welch from Hampshire is the son of British Rallycross champion John Welch, but he's not overawed by that. He can teach his father a trick or two about karting.
The kids only do this karting if they want to. If they don't want to, they drop off within the first 1 or 2 times out. But you see the enthusiasm wane as their experience goes up and down. Then all of a sudden it clicks and they're into it and they love it.
Is this how you started?
No, I was an old man at 21 when I started. And if you think about it now, you see Daniel started when he was 7. By the time he gets to 17, he's done 10 years motor racing and the year practicing. I should think already he's done far more motor racing than I've ever done in my life. We do short races and he obviously does long ones. But if you try and beat him in a kart, then you hear what I say.
Can you beat him in the car?
No. I went out once to do a few dirty tricks with him, just so he knew, you know, what the old boy would tell him. But after a lap and a half, I was trying to edge him off the circuit just to make him kind of aware. And next minute, I find boom in the back, and I think, well, I think he knows enough.
I want to go up into about Britain and then go into things like Formula 3.
What are your expectations here this weekend? What do you expect to do?
Be in about the top 10.
I suppose you're looking for the driver who's totally in control. Smooth is very important, to be smooth and precise. And above all, I suppose you're looking for a winner.
What about setup? I mean, there's got to be a lot of setup skills that these kids learn.
Yes, you're dead right, and that's a very valid point, because when kids go out of karting at 16 or 17, the information they have stored in their head about setup is incredible. They know about understeer, oversteer, how to widen the tracks, narrow the tracks, go up, down with the pressures, what tyre compounds they want. They know so much more than I ever knew when I was their age. And it's phenomenal, really.
And an 8th lap race then for the two cadet classes. The charge is on. And absolute mayhem at the first turn, but everybody appears to have got round. Well, these lads young in age, but a lot of them high in experience. Well, there's one man who didn't make it, and that's number 43 out of the cadet club. That's Lewis Hamilton. Well, he's got a lot of work to make up. Well, the charge is on. Keith Ewan, young lads, what are the age restrictions in these classes?
8 to 12 years old drivers, and this class has introduced, it's 2/3 size of 100cc karts. But look, we'll talk about technicalities later. Look at 5 and 12. 5 is Gary Paffett, and 12 Mike Spencer, who was on pole.
Yes, and Gary Paffett 12 years of age, Mike Spencer 10 years of age. Absolutely remarkable, and a lot of skill and track craft from the race leader, and they're ganging up behind. Two classes in this, Cadet Club and Cadet Super, and it's the two Cadet Super people, and Mike Spencer ahead of Gary Paffett now. Spencer moves to take the lead. Well, Mike Spencer from Waltham Abbey and Gary Paffett from Hoddesdon, and they are absolutely nose to tail, and the rest of the field are in pursuit. And well, a lot of pressure on the leader Spencer from Gary Paffett, but he can't get past at the moment.
Well, Paffett might be very, very young indeed at 12 years old, but look at him, he's chasing hard, and he's very, very aggressive for such young drivers, Chris. It has to be said, these men have been going for it. These boys, I'm so used to saying men, these boys have been going for it tooth and nail through qualifying, and look at this now.
And a fierce old scrap for third position, and it's number 0, Nicky Richardson, an 11-year-old from Benfleet in Essex. He's in third spot. Number 14, Scott Baines, we caught a glimpse of him, and Nicky Richardson joining the front two. It's now a 3-horse race out for the lead. Well, Richardson, 11 years of age, the 1991 Southern Area champion, closed on them very quickly.
Very quickly indeed, and I think that we can be sure that it will be if rather than when.
Well, this is an 8-lapper. They're on the 3rd lap at the moment.
Well, Mike Spencer at the moment, Chris, has got somewhat of an advantage at the front and protecting each corner very, very well indeed, but it's going to be a matter of time because 5 there getting on terms with him everywhere. Gary Paffett really is on the bike. 44 there, out on the side. That's Luke Stevens.
And still no change in the lead, but they're closing up together. Well, the front man, Mike Spencer, appears to be just holding up the others just a tad at the moment. Martin Batty, number 76 from Bluntincham, another 10-year-old. He's there in 4th place now. And well, looking over his shoulder, but I'm not sure that really is the right tactic. The front 4 men absolutely nose to tail, and I think we're going to be in for some remarkable last lap tactics. These lads are so young, but they are remarkably experienced.
Yeah, really and truly, this is the cadet class, and it's introduced in a way of allowing the kids to start at a very early age, so 8 years of age being the youngest in the field, and if only we had that in other classes of motorsport, Chris, I think that we'd have world champions coming out of our ears here.
Well, absolutely. We'll talk a little later about the big names of the Formula One racing world that have come up through the ranks of karts, but if you and I have been involved in motorcycle road racing a long time, how great it would be to have young road racers there. Now, look at the battle for the lead here. Oh, a superb piece of riding there by Nicky Richardson. Nicky just slots through to take 2nd place. Well, the last time I watched car racing was in Hong Kong at a race called the Gold Cup when a lad called Stefano Modena, who you may have heard of, Keith, and he was doing that sort of thing at the age of 18.
Well, I have to say that I've never been so impressed as I've been this week with the way the cadets have driven here. Kim Bolton is a great track, there's no doubt about that. Very smooth and really made for these size of karts.
And it looks as though Gary Paffett, who was at one time the race leader, is going to be zapped by Martin Batty, number 76, and may drop back to 4th place. Well, then, a movement with his hand, Keith. What was he doing there?
Round the outside there, Nicky just took the lead. Nicky just took the lead then. A brilliant manoeuvre round the outside, the long way round. Absolutely superb. But look, Batty's coming back. 12. Mike Spencer is now having a real go back at it.
Side by side, this is marvellous stuff. And there they are, level again, and who's going to give way? They don't fear, just enter into it. And as I suspected, number 5, Gary Paffett drops back. Well, I'm going to say drops back to the area. He is down to 4th place. Well, Nicky Richardson.
It's hard to believe, Chris, at this age they have the tactics and racecraft to be able to judge the way this race is going, but certainly it's been a brilliantly judged race so far. But 12, Spencer is back in front again. Remember, he was pole man as well.
Well, yes, truly astonishing. And I repeat that these guys are 10, 11 and 12 years of age. And, well, we're on the 6th lap.
And again, look, Chris, another move, and Nicky's round the outside yet again, into the turn and drops it across the front. So straight across the front again, and exactly the same kind of manoeuvre. Brilliant stuff.
If there's a gap of 2 or 3... Oh, and here they go! And I tell you what, number 5, Gary Paffett, who's at the back, he's not out of it at all. All over the track and onto the gravel, there they go. Oh, and goodness, I thought Richardson had got it sideways, but it made no difference whatsoever. Richardson, 0, leads this little man. 76 is Batty, 12 is Spencer, 5 is Paffett, and really, I wouldn't even put your wages to this job on who's going to win this one, Keith.
Well, neither would I. Indeed, it has been an absolute cracking race, and Batty really, 76 there, has worked so very well. Martin Batty deserves something from this because he's come from way behind and now is really challenging. Oh, I think he better watch out.
Well, yes, he looks as though he's lining himself up, and we are on the 7th of 8th. Blackcomb pulls out of the slipstream. Oh, and a quick glance and move over. That was ruthless, ruthless.
Nicky Richardson then still holds the advantage, but only just, and another passing minute there. 12 has gone through. Mike Spencer back into the 2nd place.
And Gary Paffett's leaner, but this is the final lap to the best of my reckoning. It's got so exciting. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not absolutely sure.
And the lead again, in the lead is 12. 12 is Spencer. He's now got the lead from Nicky Richardson, Chris.
Well, I think this is the final lap, and it could be any one of these 4 little laps. They are tiny in size, but absolutely giants of the kart racing world. Superb stuff. And who's your money on, Keith?
My money's on Nicky Richardson. I just think that somewhere that passing manoeuvre is going to be made in the run into the start and finish line. I'm sure that Nicky Richardson's 2nd at the moment. That's my money.
I think Batty may well have something up his sleeve, number 76. One thing I think we both agree on is the man who leads now is not necessarily going to win. Here comes Nicky Richardson, number 0, and on the inside looking for the gap. Oh, and then, oh dear! And, well,
they're both upright.
And that was Nicky Richardson, number 0, sitting there. Well, it was fairly inevitable, I think, that then something was going to happen. And Mike Spencer almost coasts over the line. Gary Paffett, I think, took 2nd place. Let's see that incident again. Here they are. Talk us through it, Keith.
Well, not much to say, really. Nicky Richardson was looking to get the drop across the nose of Mike Spencer. Didn't quite make it, got forced out there. And really, that was the big coming together. And, oh, dear me, caught one right on the side of the head from Martin Batty's flying kart. Well, they may be small and they may be light, but they still hurt.
As we came down the straight, Nicky hit me really hard, and he just spun. I heard him spin behind me.
He was pretty determined to get past you, wasn't he?
Yes.
But you obviously weren't going to let him.
No. For the most of the race, I was in the lead, and then well, they got in front, and I went back to 4th, and I thought, well, I'm not going to get it. And on the last lap, Batty went up the inside of Nicky, and they both collided and went off, and I thought, right, this is my chance. So I got past them, and I eventually finished 2nd.
How old are you?
10.
Looks as if you might have a very bright future in the sport.
Yes.
At the other end of the scale, Stan Harvey, a greengrocer from Doddington near Peterborough, was competing in World Championships 25 years ago. He retired but is now back in the sport after a gap of more than a decade.
The boy who worked for me at the time done 3 meetings years ago and just has never lost the bug. And that was 10 years ago, and he said he'd like to start, and he bought a 125. I came with him, came here, changed the track dramatically since I last raced here, and I won the club championship